This series is brought to you by you. Thank you so much for all of my patrons and the people who have used the Jackson's affiliate links. It is thanks to you guys that this series have been made possible. Thank you so much. Welcome back to Colossal Color Showdown Season 3. This is episode 8 and we're going to carry on taking a look at the Manganese Blue in terms of its gradation, how it reacts to salt, how it looks on cotton paper, as well as how it mixes with other colors. We're going to start off with the gradation. I have to apologize. I think a little splat of water went on here and lifted the color, so I do apologize for that. But here's the gradation, and you can see how strongly granulating the Wallace Seymore one, the genuine stuff, is. And that's what I would expect from a manganese blue. Just by the fact that it's manganese, it's going to be granulating. And on this paper, certainly, the Daniel Smith one comes through really well with the granulation. It's the best match. There are other colors that granulate, such as the Da Vinci one, the M. Graham one, and the old Hollands. They're all granulating. But in terms of duping the granulation of the PB33, Daniel Smith is spot on for that. The Da Vinci one moved through the water really super fast, and you also dried very evenly, and you get this all over granulation, whereas with the genuine stuff it's granulating over here, but then you drop in value very quickly. But the Da Vinci one moves so fast that you don't lose the hue while you're doing the gradation. With the hue colors, because they are made up mostly of phthalo blues and phthalo greens, you are going to experience color flowering a lot, which is not something you would expect from a granulating color, but you will, because these aren't real granulating colors themselves, especially the single pigment ones. So you're going to get lots of color flowering like this, and unevenness like this. So for that, the paints you get for the cauliflowering, I don't think any of these are worth it other than the Daniel Smith and Da Vinci. If you do a lot of gradation, or you do a lot of painting that are quite wet, where you mix lots of water with your paint, then I would definitely recommend sticking to either Daniel Smith or Da Vinci, because then there isn't a cognitive dissonance between what the color is called, manganese blue or manganese blue hue, and how it behaves. Then we have the salt test. The genuine stuff does not react to salt at all, and I expect that from a granulating color. However, because there's lots of phthalo blues, there are colors that do react to salt, like the Rowney one, Mission Gold's one. Winsor Newton one creates beautiful salt reactions. So if you're looking for that kind of hue, but you want to use salt and you want it to do something with the salt, then I do recommend the Winsor Newton one. The ones that didn't do much at all are Core, Holbein, M. Graham, and maybe a little bit on the old Holland. You do have some reaction, and I do find this mixture of texture between the bits that reacted to salt and the bits that didn't react really beautiful, fascinatingly beautiful. If you did a big painting with this as a texture, it will be so mesmerizing and stunning. In fact, I might just do that because it's so beautiful. Next we have the cotton paper. So this is a Fabriano Academia cellulose paper, very cheap paper. And then this is one of my favorite cotton paper. It is Saunders and Waterford 100% cotton paper. And let's see if there's much difference between how it looks on cellulose as how it looks on cotton. And I would say you can really see beautiful granulations here happening. I can totally see why this color used to be so popular. Absolutely beautiful, and a lot more even, but you find that on cotton paper, that most paints go on much more smoothly on cotton paper. But in terms of hue, there's not much different. Maybe the mass tone, you get more depth on the cellulose, but yeah, it's pretty good. The Daniel Smith one, I would say that it's darker, certainly in here, than you can get with the cellulose. The Holbein one is very smooth, completely non-granulating when you put it on cotton paper, and I would argue it's the same on cellulose paper. The Winsor Newton one looks pretty much the same. The Core one, it does have this kind of texture that I'm like, is it kind of granulating? Is it technically granulating? But it's very subtle. It's nothing like the genuine stuff. The M Graham one, you can see some granulation, but again, not like the Wallace Seymore one. The Da Vinci one is again an all over granulation, just like it was in the cellulose. You can really see how turquoisey this Old Holland Manganese Blue Extra really is. I think it's way too green. This one is a little less green, but I think both of this are a bit too green to be a dupe for the genuine stuff. That doesn't mean you shouldn't use them because it is beautiful color. It's just not matching with the hue of the genuine Manganese Blue. This is a little bit extra that I wanted to show you guys. This is the sheet that I create for the thumbnail. So if you've clicked on this video, and thank you for clicking on this video, then you would have seen this as the thumbnail. And this is done in this exact same order as this sheet as well as this sheet. But I just wanted to show you guys how beautiful the granulation is on the Wallace Seymore. It's so heavily granulating, and I would say that the Daniel Smith one is closest in how it granulates, but it's still nowhere near as granulating as the genuine stuff. And finally, we have the color mixes, and this is, I think, is where the genuine stuff shines, because you get this beautiful two-tone effect. Let me show you something else. When I'm making these test sheets, I always do little quick samples on leftover paper to see what color will be the complementary color, because I will always want to show you what color is complementary. And this was me working out the Manganese Blue Genuine and its complementary color. And can I just mention how beautiful this is? This was the Wallace Seymore Manganese Genuine with the Scarlet Lake by Holbein, and I just had a patch of the Manganese Blue and I just brushed in the red, and it splits into this dual tone color that's absolutely amazing. It's rare that you still see the complementary color all the way from here. I start from this end and mix it through, and it's perfectly well mixed by the time I get to this edge. Whereas as you can see on these, the two colors kind of coexist as very separate colors, and this is rare in watercolor, so I always want to point it out when it happens, where, yeah, it's a very unusual visual look. So if you want that look, then I would definitely recommend paying the extra premium to buy the Manganese Blue Genuine. It's beautiful, amazing color. The difference in granulation is much more noticeable here, because you can see so much granulation here, whereas other colors, you see the granulation, but it's nowhere near as powerful as the genuine stuff. And if you are a granulation fan, for love of God, try, get a Manganese Blue Genuine, because it's so worth it. It's so granulating. In terms of tinting strands, as always, the standout one is the Mission Gold, in that it's always a little bit too high in tinting strands, and that's true for the Manganese Blue as well. The Old Holland ones are also a little bit too strong on the tinting strands, as well as I would say over here the Core and M Graham is a little bit strong. The ones that match the tinting strands pretty well, as well as how it looks, again, is the Daniel Smith and the Da Vinci one. The tinting strengths, I think here, these four, the Holbein, Winsor, Newton, Daly, Rowney and Turner, also does match the tinting strengths, but there's nowhere near the amount of granulation that you see in these three brands. If watching this video has convinced you to try out this Manganese Blue, or even the Manganese Blue Genuine, but you don't want to shell out £16 for a whole tube of Manganese Blue Genuine, I totally understand. Don't worry, I've got your back. I have created a companion dot card for this video, and it is the Manganese Blue dot card. I'm super excited that I could offer the Manganese Blue Genuine for this dot card. So we have the genuine Wallace and Seymore Manganese Blue, Daniel Smith, Holbein, Winsor Newton, Mission Gold, Daly, Rowney, Turner, and the Manganese Blue Extra of the Old Holland version as well. To receive this dot card, all you have to do is head on over to patreon.com/AutoKano and sign up to the appropriate tiers, and this dot card will be on your doorstep in no time. That is it for Manganese Blue. What did you think of these colors? I think it was fascinating to do all the different tests for this color in particular, because it was really interesting to see how different brands tried to match the behavior of the Wallace Seymore one and how different brands managed to dupe it well in different characteristics, but not necessarily all of them. For me personally, I think the Daniel Smith Manganese Blue hue and the Manganese Blue mixture by Vinci is the closest one to the original stuff. The others, maybe the hue is a little bit off, like these two. Maybe it's not granulating at all, like the ones in the middle. Maybe too shiny, like the Mission Gold one, or a little bit too strong. So if you are wanting to recreate the Manganese Blue genuine experience, which you would, by the fact that it's called manganese, you would expect it to be heavily granulating, then I would recommend the Daniel Smith and the Da Vinci. Which one was your favorite though? Do let me know in the comments down below. And also, I just talked about these colors in terms of how it dupes Manganese Blue genuine, but we also should look at them as how beautiful are they and how good a quality of paints are they on their own, regardless of whether it is a good dupe or not. My personal philosophy is that just because it's a hue doesn't mean it's useless if it's not an exact copy. It can be its own unique kind of color. And where I would suggest these colors is if you're looking for a phthalo blue green shade or yellow shade, but you want it a little bit granulating, then these colors are great for that, because it's that kind of place in the color wheel, but it's a little bit softer. So if you are intimidated by phthalo blues, these are all phthalo blues and phthalo greens mostly, but they're a little bit softer. It has a little bit of white mixed into it or other pigments to just tone it down a little bit. So this might be a better choice for you if you don't want hugely highly tinting strength colors. As always, I will put high-res scan of this and everything else over on my Patreon. That's patreon.com/AutoKano. And links down below to where you can get all of these colors. And if this video has convinced you to try any of them, then it would be amazing if you can use those links. Please do like, share and subscribe, as well as sign up to receiving the dot card if that takes your fancy. Next color we're going to look at in this series is going to be the Viridian. Very exciting. I do like a Viridian. So do look forward to that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!